I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
We're exporting a whole lot of really bad and dangerous rhetoric, bad research, and unfortunately it's being picked up and amplified in other countries.
It's the same battle, Mr. Myers. We've been at it before. They want to addict these kids, this time to an e-cigarette, which has a chemical that's addictive. We know what it leads to. Sadly, it leads to tobacco addiction, disease, and death.
I'm going to get you addicted to nicotine. I have a customer for life. We have hundreds of cases nationwide where people have gotten sick or died using these devices.
Look what they're trying to do. All the delicious flavors of e-cigarettes are poison.
They're not people giving up smoking. They're not people that ever smoked before. Most people that vape never smoked before. Just think if your kid was doing this and winds up with an IQ 10 or 15 points lower than he or she would have had for the rest of her life.
Most people who vape are current or former smokers. For the addicted adult smoker who switches, there's going to likely be a reduction in risk.
There's a tremendous push to bring about prohibition, to actually prohibit vaping. Whereas the evidence strongly suggests that actually, up to now, the most successful way of people stopping smoking cigarettes is vaping.
Yeah. When vaping increases, smoking decreases.
That's right.
When vaping is restricted, smoking increases.
We're worried that, in fact, a lot of members of the public still think that using an e-cigarette is as harmful as smoking a cigarette. So, I mean, I have said that it would be tragic if smokers didn't quit and carried on smoking because they hadn't tried an e-cigarette, because they were worried about the safety of an e-cigarette.
The most disheartening thing is still the anti-choice rhetoric, the desire to enforce this quit or die mentality and refuse to allow individuals to reduce their risk unless they're willing to give up everything.
I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
Well, hey, that's a new intro. I had to switch some things around. I added some clips. I found some new stuff. It was pretty cool. But let me tell you, it was a pain in the ass. I had everything saved in a backup file. And when I opened it to make the changes, I had to literally rebuild the entire thing. I think it turned out pretty good. But hey, we're here. It's Friday night. I hope you guys are enjoying your, so far, the end of your week, the beginning of your weekend. I see that Megan Blafkin's in the room and Thomas Kersop. Crowley's not here. Crowley's on his way to the movie, I think. But I don't know what he did because I'm way meaner than he is on Twitter. So I don't know how he got banned. But Megan Geary Blafkin is here as well. And she's here twice. It seems weird. Bruni and Shannon and Troop and Tom, lots of people. So we've got a lot of shit to go. I mean, this week has been a pretty good week, and there's been some bad things as well. But we're going to talk about the GTNF 2020 virtual happened this week, which is pretty cool. I got to sit in on that, and I was given media credentials, so I could actually see a lot of the videos that I missed on the first day. I had access to actually duplicate and copy them. And we're going to show some clips from that tonight. The premiere for the nicotine film is tomorrow, I think. Everybody's traveling that's going, but we'll probably look at the trailer just to keep everybody excited. We got that going on. Obviously, we did a show with that guy, Sam. They call him the Vaping Bogan. We did that show, I believe, Monday. That was fun. That we're talking about Australia. Well, that was pre-drop of information, but now we're actually going to have to talk about what they released and the ramifications and what we need to do to get all fired up. we'll probably talk about some other stuff too. I see that there's a new vape pack. We'll show you the video for the new vape pack. I know the guy that started it. I'm not gonna say anything pro or against until I do some more research. They just released the video today. It's pretty cool. I'll show you the video. But anyway, before we get too deep in the weeds, at least, there is Paul, and I will bring Paul into the room. Hello, Paul.
G'day, everyone. How are you? How are we? After another long week of news, bad news, indifferent news, and yeah, I think I better go back to school. Yeah, back to school I go.
At your age, it's really hard to teach an old dog new tricks.
Well, that's what everyone's been saying, but apparently I was told I need to go back to school.
Oh, wow. There was a thing I wanted to show because I actually spent a little bit of time, I believe Monday or Tuesday afternoon, playing with some artwork, and I showed it to you, and you got a chuckle out of it, and a couple other Australian vaping advocate people chuckled about it. So I figure it's a good thing to. A minute here. I gotta open another tab and drag this over here to this monitor.
And you got to rub it and make it.
Well, it's pretty all right. If I make it any bigger, you're not gonna be able to see it all on one screen. But this was something I was playing with this week. So I don't know if you noticed, but this is Gregory Hunt or Greg Cunt, and this is actually a real prison in Australia.
Yep.
So I figured I would wrap up the whole little thing, and you did give me the words, or you gave me an idea what to put on there for the words. But I think we should really make this into a T-shirt and sell it to make some money for Australian advocacy.
Yeah, I can see quite a number of people actually wearing it because it's not derogatory in any way, shape, or form. And
no, he actually said
he was the one that came out and he said, "Well, I'm the health minister, not on my watch." And I said, "Well, what? Did you lose your watch again? We'll send you a watch. We'll buy you a watch." Because obviously he can't tell the time or place where he's at right now. He's a little bit misguided in his understanding of the whole vaping industry, and he still doesn't understand what THR stands for. He really doesn't.
THR. What does it mean? What does it mean?
Tobacco harm reduction. But
is that what that means?
Well, apparently so, But obviously he doesn't understand this. And as we get into what the TGA has done here and the new rules, and really, it's oh God. Tom wants one already. Sold 4, please. He wants four of them. Oh dear.
Well, I think I hope he doesn't mean 4X.
No. He wants 4.
I was gonna say,
4 times, please.
I mean that. I'm pretty big, and 4X is like a tent for me. But this is one of those laughable things. We talked about this, and I actually no, he says 4XL.
Okay, that's big.
That's fairly large, Tom. Big man. Anyway, I actually I'm kind of concerned because so explain to me what was the announcement?
The announcement here in Australia was that now, as of January 1, the de facto ban of the importation of nicotine without a prescription will come into play. But January 1, guess what? The whole system has not been set up yet for the importation scheme. That now you have to go to a doctor, which everyone was meant to do, get a prescription for said nicotine product, and then go to your pharmacist or your chemist and have said product made for you. now there's also been restrictions put on how long you can actually go on to said program for, that you can have X amount of time and then you're meant to get off it. But what if you like flavors and you just want to keep vaping because nicotine actually helps you with your everyday life?
So if you have a prescription, you still can't import it.
They want by June, well, which is a financial year, June next year, they want a full pharmaceutical model put into play that you're only going to be able to get your products through a pharmacy here in Australia. We've already had the new head of the AMA, the Australian Medical Association, come out and say that they're not going to back this model in any way, shape or form. They don't want to see it happen. They just want vaping gone. And he's only been in this job for a couple of weeks. And I don't think he knows what those three little letters THR mean either. He goes on to say that you can use gums, sprays, patches and pills, and you can also call the quit line. By the way, the quit line doesn't work very, very well. You get on there and their first line of contact is go and see your doctor and go and get a box of Chantix or Champix or whatever you want to call it. They don't want to talk to us at all. Again, we're being locked out. But also, the TGA have given us until the 6th of November for public submissions and for industry to actually come forward with what they would like to see and the changes and the reclassification of nicotine from a Schedule 7 poison down into Schedule 4, which makes it into a pharmaceutical type situation. That's not going to work either, because then if you have a look at how you want to get a medicine through, it's exactly the same as any drug company coming to market, and you have to put in all the data, you have to have all the clinical testing done, you have to have everything else. It's ridiculous. It's not going to be, the AMA president wants you to quit cold turkey or die, 100%, Bernie, and it's mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing. Nothing is in play. Nothing is in play for this. Nothing.
Right. And when we did the show on Monday, it was Monday, right? Monday.
Yep.
I mentioned that I thought that there would be a treatment protocol set up where you were essentially supposed to start here, go to here, and then be done. And that seems like pretty close to what you described.
It is pretty close, but when you have, the president of the Australian Medical Association coming out and stating, quit or die, or cold turkey, or play with our pills and powders and potions until, we've got something in play by a pharmaceutical company. There are a couple of products. There was a product in New Zealand that did manage to get through under pharmacy. It's created by a company called Myriad Pharmaceuticals. The name of the product is called Vapix. It's quite disturbing, to put it mildly. It's not going to be an easy pathway, but if they do go down this model, we don't know yet whether or not hardware will be affected. We know that online sales bans will most likely come into effect. And they've only named 2 pharmacies that are actually willing to take this on, and they're the big box pharmacies, and we don't trust them either. So why do we want a discounted product? And you have to go to a pharmacy. You can't go to your store and get your nicotine supply. And how are some of these people in remote areas meant to get to a pharmacy? It's not going to work. It really is not going to work. If they can't get an online sale, right, even at a pharmacy, because if they give a rule to the pharmacy and not to a vape shop for selling said liquid, how's this even legal? They're creating a monopoly. Bottom line, that's what they want. We know that we're hurting them now. We know when all the figures they're coming out with All the figures are stating that it's still 200,000. It's wrong. There's 500,000. Colin Mendelsohn did an amazing discussion at the Nicotine Forum, and he went in, and it's 522,000, and it's growing daily. People know that this is the way out of combustible cigarettes, but they don't. We're the only westernized country that they want to go under with a medicalized system. It's really, it's disturbing. It's disturbing.
Yeah, one of the pieces that I added to the intro were a couple clips from a video that you sent me from Australia, and that was neither one of the gentlemen speaking in that video vape. One of them was the newscaster, and the other one is a historian who's written, I think they said something like 40 books or something, and one of the books was about prohibition, and he's been a very vocal supporter of vaping. And one of the things that they talked about was, and it's a 5-minute video, so I'm not going to play the whole video.
No.
But they were aware. I mean, the clip that I put is, the newscaster's like, when vaping is allowed, smoking rates go down. When vaping is prohibited, smoking rates go up. So, at least you have somebody in Australia willing to speak that truth, which is better than here.
If you have to go to a pharmacy, are they going to be able to walk you through setting up your devices with your coils and battery safety and all this type of stuff?
No,
they haven't thought about it.
Well, no, the pharmacy lobby, I think that's probably helping push this through, hasn't done anything. Hasn't done any research. They're not going to be willing to open a vape counter at in the pharmacy for to hire some high school kid or college kid to sit on the other end of the counter and build coils and tell people how to put their coils in their atomizer, or how to use a Nautilus, or how to use a baby beast, or whatever the fuck they're going to have. I mean, obviously, there's no guarantee that the guy behind the counter is even gonna, that the pharmacist is even going to, he may just mix, 50 PGVG with Nick and no flavors. I mean, you don't know. We have no idea what's going on. They have no idea what they're going to do. The TGA and Greg Cunt haven't in any way, shape, or form built some sort of guidance on what the hell to do. Apparently, there's a Vapers conference Saturday, September the 26th at 9 from 9 to midnight, 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. to midnight, which is like 8 in the morning to noon or something here in America or something like that.
Well, that's actually today in New Zealand, that forum. And I'll be and I'll actually be attending that forum.
No, what I'm saying is here in the States. Here in the States, there's a whole lot of stuff going on. There's a Hong Kong deal today as well. That future guest of the show, Henage Mitchell, is going to be doing, and he's the director, or the president of a group called Factasia out of Hong Kong. I passed some emails and private messages back and forth after I saw him speak at the Nicotine conference, and he's agreed to come on and talk to us about what the hell's going on over in that part of the world, which is good, because I would really like to start bringing in a lot of those guys that are over there fighting, just so that we can highlight what's going on. But there is a conference in Hong Kong called Voices for Vape. It is if you go to voicesforvape.com or .org, you can actually register, but it's 4 p.m. to 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. in Hong Kong time. So that's like 6 hours from now. There's a weird, there's a.
The other thing that Bill brings up, and it's a very relevant point here for anyone that's listening here in Australia. I suggest you start learning how to play with VPNs, because the Australian government has now started geo-blocking vaping information from around the world. I brought this up a long time ago with Mike Peterson, but now it's becoming even more relevant for us.
And we also brought it up during the Bogan show on Monday, because he didn't realize that the Australian government had asked Facebook to block certain news articles.
Correct. Yeah.
So they already have the infrastructure in place to block Facebook stuff that they don't want you to see if you're in Australia, because the Australian government said either you block this shit or we're not going to let you have any Australian news content at all. Yep. So,
and that goes for YouTube. That goes for YouTube as well. We've just found out.
Yeah. So, I don't know what's going to happen to people like Legion and Bogan. They may be able to broadcast content from Australia, but they won't be able to, Australians won't be able to view their shit probably.
Which
if they go that route.
Yeah. Okay. Then there'll be public outrage. Like these guys, like both Bogan and Steve, like Legion Vapes, both of them have quite large followings from around the world.
Yeah.
If they start, like Steve, from memory, he's got about 40,000 on his. Sam's coming up to 200,000 viewers on his YouTube page. If they start blocking the content coming out of Australia, there's going to be outrage.
No, I don't.
Watch what happens.
I don't think that they'll block the content coming out of Australia. I think what will happen is those Australian creators will be able to continue to create content. Australian viewers will not be able to view it. That's what I'm thinking.
Who else are we going to make up prison fatigues for? Because there's going to be a whole lot of government that we're going to have to make up.
Well, I mean,
prison outfits.
Obviously, if all the other ministers that are in the government are willing to set by, this is some pretty fucking deep shit. This is the state, silencing people, the state controlling information. This is like Big Brother level shit. Obviously, they really pushed that fucking contact tracing app. You remember that?
Oh God, yeah, don't even
remember
go there.
that.
Yeah, don't go there.
We played that video in depth here on the show. We played several of them, but I'm not a big fan of the government knowing who I'm associating with, and tracking where I am.
Yeah,
that's just creepy as hell. So that's a lot of bullshit. But I said it the other day. They're pushing through a plan. They have no infrastructure. They don't have any knowledge on the product that they're trying to, enforce these rules on. They're the only civilization on the planet that's pushing a prescription a prescription only plan for these products. They're literally in the Commonwealth, right? And they're the only country in the fucking Commonwealth of that are acting this way about vaping. Like, Canada's being kind of helpful. The UK obviously is being super helpful. India, is India still in the Commonwealth?
They do get a lot of help still from the UK, yeah,
but I don't think that they're actually a member of the Commonwealth anymore. I could be wrong.
No, I could be wrong as well. I don't remember.
If that's the case, then there would be two countries in the Commonwealth. One completely banned the fucking shit, and the other one is pushing a prescription plan.
New Zealand's also part of the Commonwealth.
Yeah, but they're also vape friendly. Or at least they're more vape friendly than they were 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever.
Well, look, they've got their problems in New Zealand, but they're actually listening to what's going on and what should be happening. it makes me sad. Once upon a time, Australia was an amazing place to live and visit.
It was almost like a free country. It doesn't seem like it's a free country.
Yeah. No, because we have the Muppet Show running it. We don't have real ministers. We don't. These are all what we call Clayton's ministers and people in like the actual elected officials. They're not real. They're just there. It's more profit than people. That's all they want. They're destroying this country left, right, and center. And you hear in the news over here recently that Morrison, our illustrious banana head prime minister, his idea to get out of like the COVID debt that we're in is create a whole new gas economy. Okay, well, it's not part of the Commonwealth anymore. It used to be. A new gas economy. And I thought, right, well, we sold off our liquid natural gas, right, from our oil refineries here in Australia and from oil exploration under BP, we sold that off for pennies on the dollar. Now, our illustrious Prime Minister and all his cronies, they would like to start fracking. Really? Unbelievable. This is his magical plan, and then he would like to create a gas-powered electricity type situation. I went, really? But you want to create a new type system instead of a coal-fired power station. He now wants to do a CSG-based power station. I went, obviously you do not read any of the data. The United States is a perfect example for this. You fucked up your water supply by CSG and coal seam gas and fracking, and now you want to open up the whole eastern seaboard with no red tape whatsoever. And I thought, really? Really?
Fracking is completely safe, sir. I live in Texas. I should know.
Oh, fuck no.
We are. I mean, they're fracking in my front yard. It's okay.
Oh well, we're all going to move to Texas, everyone. We're all going to move into Patrick's backyard. We're going to set up our own liquid lab, and we're going to barbecue every day and cause mischief. Tell the wife we're on the way.
Barbecuing every day happens quite not every day, but most days. Because this is how mean I am. When I'm barbecuing or I'm grilling something really nice looking, I'll snap a picture and I'll send it to Paul.
Yep, no, it's not even funny anymore.
And he gets really mad at me. He says, "Damn it, I'm hungry now."
I'm eating noodles and he's there barbecuing something. I'm like, fuck you.
So, I actually named the show, Paul, Rubicon Crossed.
Yes.
I'm sure that you know what crossing the Rubicon means.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there are people in the chat room that know what it means, but I'm gonna explain it anyway. So, there was this guy named Julius Caesar, and he was the emperor of this little country called Rome back in ancient times, and he was kind of a what's the word I'm looking for? He was kind of a military guy. He was kind of a hard ass motherfucker, and there was another country that he wanted to invade, and they said, if you cross this stream, because the Rubicon's not really a big river that's like hard to cross, but they said, if you cross this, we're going to start a big war. And he said, oh yeah, let's go. And he crossed the Rubicon, and they say that's like the point of no return, or you've made your decision, and once you've made that decision, you've made that choice or that move, there's no turning back. So there's no fucking turning back. Like we have made our decision that we're going to fight for this. Obviously, the Australian Therapeutic Goods Administration have crossed the Rubicon by dropping the gauntlet and saying, we're going to force you guys into a prescription pathway. There's a whole lot of Rubicons that got crossed this week, or that will get crossed tomorrow. So the nicotine movie is coming out tomorrow. They're having their premiere tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow at a drive-in theater in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So sort of to kind of hype it up for those of us that can't go. I do want to play the 2-minute trailer video that was released a month ago, just to satiate our appetites, because we're not going to get to see it for a while. But I'm going to play that real quick. So y'all chill out for a minute.
You need to share the audio.
It's playing. Are you guys telling me you can't hear this? Seriously? You're not hearing that at all?
You did not share the audio.
No, I do. I've got the audio icon. I definitely have the audio icon.
No audio on the video. People are saying.
Let me go to my here.
He's got to rub it and make it bigger.
No, let's see. Let's hit play. Can you hear that?
Nope.
Man, I don't know what's going on with this. Okay, so it's audio processing. See, this is the problem when you do shit live.
Yeah, but it's always fun doing shit live.
All right, let's do this again. All right, let's try this.
People just kept on using it as kind of a substitute.
And no one knew the consequences?
Teens are already dealing with so much.
Panic has ensued.
As of today, we're declaring a war on vaping.
He lost his captainship and was suspended.
As we began this project, a massive wave of nicotine headlines swept across many parts of the world. The headlines were alarming.
This is an epidemic.
Total crisis. They don't know what to do.
So we went on the hunt for truth. Smoking cigarettes is on the rise worldwide. The main reason is nicotine. We had this unsettling feeling that there was something deeper here. People generally know the dangers of smoking, but we wanted to know the dangers of nicotine itself, and why do so many people want to use it? Let's start at the beginning.
Nicotine is a long story. But what's going on in the brain? It's only in about the past 10 or 15 years we're finally getting a more clear picture.
New campaigns were launching in the U.S. to respond to the growing use of nicotine by young people. We wanted to learn about this new crisis from the people on the front lines. Social media was full of nasty arguments and half-truths, both for and against nicotine.
This is more emotional than scientific.
Prosecute them criminally.
Nicotine, I better move fast.
What do you know about nicotine?
I know it's not very good for your health. It ruins you.
It's in cigarettes and it's not healthy. It's like you get your life back. Nicotinic system.
Nicotine.
Nicotine.
Nicotine is a game changer.
At first, we were angry, and we were sad. The truth became unbelievable.
Well, it says coming soon. So tomorrow is soon. So the worldwide premiere is at a drive-in theater in Milwaukee. Thank you, COVID-19. So that they weren't able to do the big premiere that they wanted to do. I hope that at least I know some people that are there, and I hope that it's everything that I expect it to be. I mean, I've talked to Aaron. I've actually, I'm one of the Kickstarter people that kickstarted it, and I'm sure there's quite a few Kickstarter supporters in the chat room right now. I know that this is not a vaping movie. Like, I know that. There are a lot of people that expected it to be or were upset that it wasn't a vaping movie. This is a bigger deal than just vaping. I mean, obviously, Nick Green is in it, so you know that they're going to talk about vaping in it because Nick is in it.
Matt Cully's in there as well. But
yeah, Matt
the
was
really interesting part is the other day on Nick's show, he came out and he was actually sent the poster and a T-shirt, and he said, I never thought that I'd actually see my name on a movie poster next to Stanton Glantz, and I just laughed when I heard that.
That is kind of funny. I ordered a hat and a T-shirt from the swag website. That they put up. Aaron put up a thing saying that sadly they can't have a merchandise station at the drive-in to sell stuff because of the virus and all that. So they opened an online store, and they had T-shirts and hats and mugs and posters and all, cups and all sorts of really cool stuff. So I went ahead and ordered it. I was kind of hoping that it would be here by today, but it wasn't, because I would have been wearing it. Even though it's really hot and too hot to be wearing a beanie hat, but I would have probably worn it for the show just because. I'm grateful that the movie's done. I'm almost 100% positive that it's going to meet all of the expectations that I have from talking to Aaron about it. I think that he's gonna, there's a whole thing going on where, they had a bunch of people interviewed, and they were talking a certain way on social media to get those people to participate. And I think that really turned some people off, but I really think the end product is going to be great. So I'm super excited about that. And maybe one day he'll send me a link so I can watch it. Because I can't obviously be in Milwaukee, and he has agreed to be on the show once the movie's out. So he'll be on in the next couple weeks as well. Been nice to get him on tonight, but obviously he's got a lot of shit on his, he's dealing with.
Well, he's been sending out a lot of different photos of the different people. He was there hanging out with Nick Orlando. I saw him actually having a coffee with Nick and Aaron's wife and a few of the others, Dolores, a few other people. I know that there's a number of people on their way. Yeah, there's a number of people on their way to Milwaukee to actually see it. I know that there's a lot of road trips going on, and I can confirm after a phone call with the illustrious Mr. Crowley that, yes, he is going with his wife. They're going, watching the movie and then disappearing into the ether. But it's a good thing. The people that need to see it are all making the trek to Milwaukee to see it. And I hope, and this is something that I put in the chat just a little while ago, Aaron, if you hear this, please send me a copy so I can send it to the TGA so they understand a few things, so we can educate them, because their education it's all wrong. It's absolutely wrong.
So yeah, one of the things, Bruni mentions it here. One of the things that Aaron did was, kind of, didn't come out and say anything negative. He was just, kind of vague about what the plan was and what the information was, and actually, there's been a couple anti-vaping groups that have shared
Oh no,
the no nicotine promo stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Oops.
you know, the psychological games that he's plotted out have worked with some people. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. This is next couple days will be interesting. Once the movie's out, obviously, I don't believe a bunch of these negative anti-vaping people are going to be at the premiere of the movie. But word of the movie will not be silent. People that are there will talk about it on social media.
Yeah.
And once that's out, those tweets will be, you know, we should actually share screen them and frame them so that we can use them later.
Twitter's been a, you know, oh dear. Oh yeah, Kevin's got his Twitter account back after they thought he was a robot again.
Well, did he get it back?
Yeah, he's back.
Earlier today, he wasn't back.
Yep.
So.
Oh, and by the way, just north of Chicago, on my way to I know Nicotine. Don't know Nicotine in Milwaukee. I haven't seen Jerome Adams yet at any of the rest stops. Calm down, Twitter. I'm not a bot. Yes, he is alive. He is well, and everyone is saying welcome back. Yeah, welcome back, Kevin.
That was 2 hours ago. That he tweeted that. So. That's good that Kevy is alive, and there's the Twitter. Costello, who may or may not be in the chat room, has replied. And
are you out there?
He's here sometimes. He's not here sometimes. So you know, it is what it is. Sometimes he's late. You know, he's one of those old California grumpy guys that are always a little bit late. So you know that's good. That's happening. That's happening, so you know that's great. But the Global Nicotine or Tobacco Nicotine Forum, virtual 2020 or 2020 virtual, happened, and there are hours and hours and hours and hours of video content from this thing. But I did want to show a couple clips. I'm going to show because obviously this young lady is near and dear to our hearts. This is Dr. Mariwa Glover. And she did a talk about COVID-19 and public health and vaping. So I'm going to show that clip real quick here. So we'll get into some of this.
The COVID response strategies being used to control the public's behaviour mimic those used by tobacco control, such as the free Dobbin a lockdown offender phone line, reminiscent of the Australian Queensland State's government's Dobbin a vapor line. In New Zealand.
Okay, I do want to interrupt that for a minute because dob on a smoker or dob on a vapor is Australian for rat on your friends or rat on your neighbors.
Queensland. Okay. Queensland was stupid enough to be one of the states that they set up a hotline. The health department set up a hotline that if you think that a vapor has nicotine in his or her device, call them up. You can actually get a reward for helping us. Get fucked.
Yeah, that's ratting on people. I mean, they're asking people to turn their friends in, and obviously, if you know your history, there is a kernel of some Nazism there. Obviously, if you know any Jews, call this number and turn your Jewish friends in. So this is not cool. But anyway, let's keep going.
Dylan, we had neighbours called curtain twitchers taking photos of people they thought were breaking the lockdown rules. A parallel. Just 2 weeks ago, someone took a photo of the Deputy Prime Minister smoking in a non-smoking area, and it became national news. The authoritarian overreach, accepted when applied to people who smoke, has been extrapolated out to the whole public to achieve conformity with the COVID response strategy. Scientific evidence and expert opinion, opposite to what is politically useful, has been disregarded. We're all too familiar with that in tobacco harm reduction.
So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of these videos to go through, but it saddens me that the government of Australia is asking people or setting up a way for people to turn in their neighbors. That is just ridiculous. So that was a clip from the first day.
Have you got Colin's one there from Australia?
Well,
Dr.
I will.
Mendelsohn?
I'm going in order.
Okay.
I'm going in order. So that was day one. There's a lot of longer videos, so I'm going by the ones that they've already clipped. Because if I sat here and at the computer and tried to clip all these, it's a task. Like I said, there are literally
hours
and hours and hours of content here. So our friend Alex Clark was one of the keynote speakers, and we love Alex. We've had him on the show as well, obviously. So I'm gonna throw his keynote speech up for a minute or two. This is just a short clip from his keynote speech.
For me, I smoked cigarettes for 21 years. For the better part of that, I smoked 2 packs a day. I had tried a couple of times to quit, once cold turkey and the rest with nicotine gum. Actually, a bit of a brief but interesting story about my experience with that. In 2008, rather than following the directions on the box, I consulted with my dad, who was successful in quitting smoking with nicotine gum. And his advice to me eventually became the guidance from FDA, which was don't pick a quit date, pick a start date. And so I began using the product by basically displacing the cigarettes I was using with a piece of nicotine gum. And I did have some success, but ultimately life on life's terms sort of took over, and I went right back to smoking with gusto. And it took 5 more years for me to get to a point where I quit smoking. I did not have that success with nicotine gum, but it did reveal, I think, some interesting things about my relationship with nicotine, which I think is a very central part of this conversation, and I will touch on that a bit later. But it was trying electronic cigarettes on a whim that convinced me I could completely transition away from smoking. And my transition took course over a period of 8 hours. There was no prolonged using one product and the other at the same time. It was immediate to me that I enjoyed vapor products more.
So, I mean, I think that they did a really good job of finding people that had good stories to tell. And there's a lot of clips of Alex. I'm just going to scroll through here and find the ones that I want. But yeah, I downloaded the entire library because I had... Well, I had media access, so that gave me like the full gambit of everything that they did. And, I want to thank Paul, because Paul was like, hey, there's this thing, blah, blah, blah. And I went and registered, and they immediately sent me a denial. And then 2 minutes later, they sent me, oh, you're media. So here's your special logon, which was really cool. I missed a bunch of these. But the one that you're asking for, there's 2 different Colin Mendelsohn clips. So we'll play both of the Colin Mendelsohn clips because I'm sure Colin probably lit a fire under their asses. And,
it's good what he says, because he tries not to laugh when he actually mentions the name Greg Hunt.
Maybe he was listening to me. But anyway, this is the first of two of the Colin Mendelsohn clips.
So in Australia, we have almost universal resistance to vaping. So that includes our Australian government, health department, the top left logo, our peak health and medical organisation, the National Health and Medical Research Council, our regulator, the TGA, are all opposed to vaping. We don't have enough evidence, apparently, or they haven't seen it. We also have resistance from all our state and territory governments. We have 7 local regulatory divisions who all oppose vaping. Most of the medical and health associations oppose vaping, including the Australian Medical Association, Thoracic Society, Public Health Association, and even the health charities. Believe it or not, Cancer Council Australia opposes vaping, even though smoking is the leading preventable cause of death and illness in Australia. It's also opposed by the Heart Foundation, the Lung Foundation, and it goes on. And the effect of this is amplified by the fact that the media is hostile to vaping. So the dominant narrative gets covered in the media. We find it very hard to counter that. And what's particularly disturbing is that our leading medical journal has an anti-vaping position. It's very hard to get pro-vaping articles published. I've submitted several to them. One was rejected without even peer review, published subsequently by a leading journal. And you know, it's not for me to say there's a bias there, but a lot of people feel that there is.
So that's the first of the Mendelsohn quotes, or the Mendelsohn clips.
He really goes after and puts it into context of how bad we actually have it here, and it's more and more apparent now.
More and more apparent. All right, so here's the second clip.
But in June, we had a big boost in our campaign. The health minister kicked an own goal. So what he decided was, in his infinite wisdom, that we should ban the import of nicotine into Australia, and there should be a $220,000 fine if you're bringing nicotine into Australia to help you quit smoking. And he produced this complex and unworkable pathway. I won't go into the details, but it was ridiculous, and there's no way it would work. This was introduced with 2 weeks' notice. At the end of Parliament, there was no parliamentary discussion, there was no public consultation. So the health minister thought, well, we'll just push this through at the end of Parliament when no one's looking. But people did see it. And what happened was that there was a huge backlash. The vapers were so angry with this. They melted the phone lines to the MPs and sent in email. There was a fighting fund developed, a lot of social media, some of the advocates in media jumped on this, opinion pieces were published. And within the Parliament, even within the government, there was a huge backlash. So these 2 senators, or one's a senator and one's a member of Parliament, wrote a letter to the health minister signed by 28 backbenchers from within the government saying this is not acceptable. Within 3 days, they put an online petition and they got 70,000 signatures. So that was the extent of the response. It was a huge response, and the minister backed down.
Well, I mean, he backed down, but then he brought it right back, Colin. I mean,
well, you know, Colin's right. As soon as it was actually Bill Tarling, I was asleep when it dropped here in Australia in the news, and Bill Tarling sent me a link, and I went, right, you know, Greg Hunt wants to play this game? Really? We haven't heard a damn thing about this. So I reached out to a few groups around the world, and all of a sudden, you know, we're all climbing onto pirate ships and loading up our cannons and hoisting the sails, all set sail for Australia. And it was all out war. We did not only melt the phone lines, I think we broke a few of the email servers as well, because there was emails coming in from every corner of the planet. It was quite disturbing. The Royal College in the UK sent a damning letter, and once I find it, I'll post it for everyone to read on Twitter. They went after Greg Hunt and his stupidity, which I thought was quite funny. But I don't think they were expecting that. 70,000 signatures in less than 3 days. I thought it was quite good to see. So whatever you do in Australia, don't piss off the vaping community, because you know that you're going to get backlash from around the world. Oops.
Well, on day 3, they did a grassroots consumer talk, and there's 2 clips here. I'm going through them real quick to see who's talking. So this first clip is Henage, which is the Hong Kong guy that I was talking about. I want him on because by the way he was talking, he's one of us. He's sort of, I think he'll fit okay on the show. But so let's look at this one real quick.
Those of us who are in tobacco harm reduction sphere, who listen to the science, who review the arguments and understand the issues, and most particularly who have concerns over consumers' rights to choose to use less harmful products, or in fact any product they want, and the duty of regulators to regulate, which does not mean ban, it means regulate, just like every item you have in your life is regulated. The manufacture, distribution, sale, and use of it is regulated. So should e-cigarettes, vaping devices, and alternative nicotine products also be regulated in terms of the manufacturing to make sure that they're safe for consumers to use. But in terms of government stepping in to ban or restrict access to less harmful products, using an argument that they're not less harmful when they are less harmful, is absolutely unbelievably stupid. And not one single shred of evidence has ever come up that would demonstrate that any e-cigarette containing nicotine that's been manufactured properly has ever killed anyone. The only deaths that have been recorded from e-cigarette use have been with people who've been messing around with them, changing batteries and getting them wrong because they're not qualified to do it. And the E-Valley cases in the United States, which have been picked up as being, that's the reason to ban e-cigarettes. As we all know, this was people who were using illicit marijuana products, had nothing at all to do with regular nicotine vapes. But it's this kind of misinformation that we struggle to counter on a daily basis. And the repercussions are significant because we're in the middle of a COVID pandemic and it's going to kill tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people. But smoking is the biggest pandemic of our generation, of any generation. It will kill 500 million people in the next 20 years.
So there was a young lady from the Philippines who was the first speaker in that consumer group. She's going to school to be a lawyer and had to leave the talk to go to class. So they didn't clip.
Yeah, I know who you mean. Yeah.
And I made a point that night to tweet and thank every one of them, because these are all consumer advocates that are fighting for the vapors of their countries. So I felt like that we should thank them. So I thanked each and every one of them and invited all of them to come on the show. So Henage Mitchell from Hong Kong is coming for sure. The next clip is from Samrat Chowdhury from India, and he hasn't responded back. But I really, because I'm really pissed off about India. So this is it's the young lady from CAFRA that and I did tweet at her, and I do have her name, but this is Samrat.
Unfortunately, at present, the tobacco control community in India is trying to conflate risks, which is to use the Indian SLT to claim that all SLT is bad. So, we are at that level of the debate. That said, there are manufacturers Indian manufacturers who are beginning to look at snus, sourcing it from India. Because also we need to keep in mind that the SLT is really, really cheap. I mean, it's much cheaper than even BDs. That is the most used form of smoked tobacco. So the market is price sensitive. So if you are going to look at converting the Gutka and the Khaini users, then the products will also have to be at a price point that they can afford. And it is possible. We are looking at manufacturers who are managing to do this. There are regulatory hurdles, of course, because the SLT invites about 200% tax. So if there was risk differential taxation in the SLT space, then this was really possible, and we could save a lot of lives. A lot of consumers of these products would have less harmful alternatives to go.
So I'm not going to sit here and play every clip, but those were some of the speakers that I really wanted to see. Knight Thomas, and all of the content that is public from the GTNF conference will be up for, I think, 30 more days. So
Yep.
if you haven't already spent a few minutes and gone and scrolled through what is publicly available, you should. There were some great panels. Obviously, Dr. F was on a panel, and they didn't clip anything from him. So maybe I'll go through and clip some stuff that I liked and show it at another point. But there's a lot of panel clips that don't say who's speaking at the time. So I'll go through them, and maybe we'll show them in the future. But
some of the ones that I was interested in is more along the lines of the chemistry and everything that they've found now in regards to vaping, and the different manufacturers that are moving from the combustible space. And I will shout out, believe it or not, PMI, BAT, and JT, Japan Tobacco, because of what they're doing. And they're actually putting forward their white papers now. Yet all the ants are still saying, but we don't trust them. I said, but the science is so solid now, it's not funny. You cannot keep sticking your head in the fucking sand and not reading or listening to the truth. Once you extract nicotine, whether or not it's synthetic, whether or not it's from stem, whether or not it's from leaf, the process that it goes through to be manufactured, the cleaning process of said product to make it as clean as possible. If, for argument's sake, in the early days when sprays and patches were made, that was manufactured from the tobacco plant directly. In recent years, it's gone across to the synthetic style. If there were problems by now with nicotine, wouldn't you see transdermal patches being taken off the market if there was a serious problem? Well, they haven't been. So come on, people, wake the fuck up and let us have what we need. Personally, I can't function without nicotine anymore. It's not because of an addiction. I would rather use nicotine on a daily basis than having to go and take a handful of pills every morning and every night before I go to bed. Simple as that. I don't function that well. And people don't like me when I don't have nicotine either.
Well, maybe I don't like you at all. No.
Well, that too. There are people that don't like me, but I don't give a flying fuck anymore.
Well,
sorry. That's how I am.
Yeah. So I threw in the chat the website for the actual virtual thing. There's media clips and stuff there at the top that you can see and watch. I'm just glad that I mean, obviously, if you go and you walk in, many of the presenters were people that from Juul were there. One of the days, the keynote was a guy from Juul. You know, some of the booths in the virtual convention center were big tobacco companies. Reynolds Science Center had a booth or whatever. You could go and read stuff, but by and large, every speaker that I saw was great. I mean, there was a young lady that spoke. She was a chemist for some New Zealand vape company.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I do not remember her name, but
yeah,
she's very good friends with Nancy Lucas and Capro.
She spoke quite well. She explained science in words that non-scientists can understand. I think by and large it was approachable.
Yeah.
So obviously I'm telling everybody to go check it out because you got 30 days to do it. I mean, obviously it's one of this is to benefit us. So we should definitely make sure that we're thanking the people that are doing these great things for us. So that's a big deal. So what else were we going to talk about? We already talked about the prison country, and we already talked about what's going on in Australia. We talked about the GTNF. We talked about you don't know nicotine. I just want to make sure that we hit everything before we go off the rails and just start being chaotic, because we will be chaotic for sure. But there was a tweet that I really wanted to. I already showed you that tweet, but there was another tweet. There was a tweet today. A woman here in Texas, the university professor here in Texas, posted a bunch of bullshit, and her name is Deanna Holschler. I'm going to throw that on screen. At Deanna Holschler. Anyway, she says e-cigarettes are now the most commonly used tobacco product among teens, according to data from the Texas Adolescent Tobacco and Marketing Surveillance Study. We must address teen vaping in Texas. Learn more, and then she has a link to her university, and obviously then she throws in obesity in there as well, which I kind of got mad about. And obviously there, Charlie and Johnny Two Vapes and James and a bunch of other people, they dropped in there, and all these people are. I think I know pretty much everybody here, but I wanted to make sure she heard my comment, so I retweeted over her butt, and I tagged her in it. I said, "Well, Deanna, it's illegal to sell to kids and for kids to possess. Maybe we should push law enforcement and tobacco control folks to enforce the law and bust the bad actors instead of banning a beneficial product that is proven to help adults quit a deadly habit." She didn't respond. It hurts my feelings when I go out of my way to try to help these people learn something and they don't respond.
Well, it's not very good etiquette. If you're going to put a post out, expect responses and then respond to the respondees, please. I'm being nice.
That's a new look for you.
Really?
Well, to be nice, that's a new look for you. But the other thing I wanted to talk about was something that Michelle Minton posted today. As she says, with their ban on anyone with any past or present interest in tobacco, vapor, and pharma, the World Health Health on Tobacco or Health's open access webinars will be sparsely attended. Someone went to tell them their keynote speaker doesn't even qualify. So they throw in this graphic here, and this is the hail. I think everybody understands the hail. So this is the Michael Bloomberg funded thing. So this little symbol here is the village. So I want everybody to understand. I'm going to rub this really big so that you guys can see this. It actually won't get any bigger. So the village are a group of very rich people, investors. And this is a list of the people that are members of the village. So the village is Andy Johnson. She is the president and CEO of Fidelity Investments. We have Reid Hoffman, who is the founder of LinkedIn. Annie Wojcicki, and she is the CEO. I'm having a hard time reading this. It's really small for me. Anyway, Magic Johnson is one of these guys. Look at this guy right here. You see this guy? His name is Bill Gates. He's one of the richest men in the world. Bob Iger is the chairman of Disney. Oh, look, there's Mikey Bloomberg. There's Mikey Bloomberg and Marky Zuckerberg. Now, you see what this is? This is this is essentially an e-cigarette, right? This is called the Hale. It is a electronic nicotine delivery device that is being funded by or backed by the Village. These are the members of the Village. Bloomberg has spent millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars fighting vaping. Mark Zuckerberg won't even let vaping advertisement on Facebook. Has been multiple times has made it impossible for vape advocates to even advertise, to promote boost posts or to do any paid advertisement on Facebook. I don't even want to talk about this Bill Gates guy. Literally, 3 of these guys have been so anti-vaping that it's not even funny. Yet here they are as a group spending, I'm assuming, millions of dollars for product development on this product.
The Hale itself, well, apparently it's Bluetooth enabled and it adjusts your nicotine.
Yeah.
And people have been saying to me that there's shutout times and all kinds of crap on it. But here's the thing about the Hale, right? If I see one of them get put through and it goes straight through the TGA process here in Australia, guess what? Fuck you. Fuck you, Bloomberg. You put in so much money to destroy the industry. And then what? You sneak something through? What? You're in bed with the TGA or what? Hunt's actually got shares or something in your company because you've done a lot of damage in this here in Australia already. But please, seriously, wake up.
I do want to address something that Rob Ramdis said in the YouTube about a flavor ban in Texas. So the great thing about Texas is we only do legislation every other year. So there's a 2-year gap in between legislative sessions. So if a flavor ban were to be on the way, and the governor already pretty much said that he wouldn't sign one, we need a new governor before that happens. So I don't really believe that will happen, but there will be. I mean, we're the only state that has defeated more bills than Florida, as far as I know. It is redonkulous.
Yeah, 100%. Because, Rob, I'll tell you something. When 810 was voted down or the governor didn't sign off on it, he knew, simply because of the hard work not only Smoke-Free Florida did, but all the other groups throughout the United States and from around the world. Everyone calling here, DeSantis, we did a lot of work for Florida, and that bill should be printed out and put up on every wall of every damn shop down in Florida. And for the 800 shops that are in Florida, and only 25% of them, or not even 25% of them, 100 odd shops actually got involved. 10%. That sucks. So all these others, and not even caring about what goes on in your state. Wake up, please.
Well, I mean, I've been doing this for a decade now. We said 5 years ago, 6 years ago, more of these businesses need to get into advocacy. More of these businesses need to join their trade group. More of these businesses need to be active in legislative stuff. It hasn't happened. It hasn't happened in a decade. It's not going to happen if you ask nicely like you just did. And you did say you said please. So I wouldn't hold my breath. Now, SB 810 is a special situation. Correct. SB 810 was legislation that we knew was coming way in advance. And this was back in like January that we kind of knew it was coming. It was introduced. It went through all of the processes and went through both houses in Florida, and then COVID happened. It was already it was ready to go to the governor's desk when COVID happened, and literally that gave us so much time. I mean, we did the virtual rally where we had hundreds of people come in, pop out, record their entry to the governor. We made an amazing 22-minute video of hundreds of people holding up an SB 810 sign and saying, "Governor, don't veto this bill." We had Twitter people from all over the world retweeting and hitting the governor. We don't normally get that kind of opportunity and that length of time to continue to berate and attack and, educate and inform. And, I'm not suggesting that we have another pandemic at any time ever again to allow this to do that. But yeah, Florida smoke free, Nick, Fig and I, we busted our ass creating that fucking video. And I live in Texas. But I'm fighting for my brothers and sisters in Florida. If somebody in another state asked for my help and there was something that I could help them with, I'm going to fucking do it. There's no question in my mind that, we're fighting for everyone. And, I said this on your show or on my show, but on the show that we did for Australia. This is an international fight. Literally, the ants groups, the nanny staters, the whatever you want to call these assholes are trying shit in different places all over the world to see what works. And then they try to bring it into other countries. Oh, if it worked over here, let's try it over here too. So I'm worried if this prescription thing works in Australia, which there's work and then there's what they say work means. For them, when they say, well, it worked, it could literally mean, well, we wiped out the entire industry. That's what we wanted. So it worked. We're at a stage now where we should realize that what happened in India could happen in another country. What's happening in Australia could happen in another country. What happened in Singapore, what happened in Malaysia, Indonesia, all these places where it's nearly impossible, if not criminal, to have vapor stuff.
Well, okay, let's take India, all right, as a key point that everyone should really understand. The night before, none of us had any idea what was about to be handed down in India at all. Nothing, zero. And then we wake up the next morning, my inbox is full of emails from different companies. And I've gone, what the hell just happened? I got an email from Ruthless. That was one of the first ones. And it was, we've shut down all operations in India. And then I looked it up and I went, you idiots. You openly banned vaping overnight? Are you guys fucking crazy? People that had a lot of money invested in India. India was actually a very good market. It was a growing market for liquid manufacturers and developers. We lost everything overnight. Absolutely everything. Hardware manufacturers that had also put in a lot of time and money into India to grow the industry and to help the community, the vaping community over there, destroyed overnight. People left holding the bag. Bruni and I were actually watching a show the other night on YouTube at some ungodly hour, and it was all the Indian vaping advocates in a roundtable discussion, and they asked me for my name and my email address, and I've now been invited onto their show because they're now watching what's going on here in Australia, and they're going, hang on a second. So they're taking little bits from all over the place and trying to put it together. Canada, actually, I was speaking to Greg, a friend of mine, Greg Paschak, and he said to me, where have I heard this before about the pharmacy type model? And I said, we were talking about it, and I said, we had chatter probably 12 to 18 months ago here in Australia that they were looking at this pathway, but we never thought that they'd take it this far. It is going through now. It's set in stone here in Australia that by next June 2021, that there'll be a full pharma model in play. None of us know who the players are at the table, so we're going to try and upend that the best way we possibly can. If for argument's sake, it goes down this pharma model, why can't the vape shops be given Tabasco free kids? Yeah, okay. Make Tabasco mandatory. They're good. They're good. They're funny. I really hope that we actually get heard this time. The Australian government's not listening so far, but with what Colin Mendelsohn said the other day at the summit, he said that this is now a political football and it's going to come back and bite them in the arse. If you have 500,000 voters in Australia, that's quite a lot because of our demographic, because of our population here, 25 million. 500,000 votes can swing an election very, very quickly. I think it's quite good. If the United States does the same thing, and the vaping community there votes like the single issue voters, you're going to have problems there this year also with the election. But like personally, I don't really think that the United States knows exactly how many vapers there are. I really don't.
We only have, I mean, obviously there's the numbers that the professionals extrapolate, and then there's the numbers that the tobacco companies extrapolate. Obviously,
yeah.
The tobacco number is designed specifically to put on a profit and loss statement and an investor report to make their products look better. I don't in any way, shape, or form believe that number. There's nothing in that report to show where they got that number from. If we go by the CDC and the academic numbers, which is probably still not accurate, the numbers are way less than they were 4 years ago.
Correct.
The market I mean, we are looking at the market and how much, the number, the number of the amount of money that the people that report their sales to, and not everybody reports their sales, but the sales plummeted after 2016.
Yeah,
so
correct.
I'm of the estimate that there's no more than 10 million, no more than 10 million, and that's including hobbyists, part-time or dual users. There's no more than that. Demetrius and Greg and I all agree essentially that that's pretty damn close. Greg has said that it's no full-time users. There's no more than 3 to 5 million full-time users. And that's about as realistic. If you look at the market and you look at trends, that's about as accurate as you can get. And again, like I said, the number of businesses that have gone out of business, the number of e-liquid companies that have disappeared, that's probably closer to the truth than what Altria put in their stockholders report. And they do have motivation to amplify that number for their stockholder report.
Well, you're also seeing
people repeat that number over and over again. That doesn't make it real.
No.
Period.
But the other thing that we're now seeing is the large tobacco companies diversifying their investments into cannabis now, also into I don't know, it was PMI. They're also diversifying theirs into winemaking, which that's everything gets grown. Yeah.
A lot of these come. I mean, obviously, if you look at the whiskey world, there's a handful of companies that own every prestige whiskey line.
Yep.
And it is what it is. But I've addressed this. Bruni decided he'd make it. He would tag me in a post today because I've ruined the single issue voter argument for him. Because obviously I know too many people in this industry. I know too many vapors in this industry to believe that in any of them. I was on a show. I was on another vape show for another show, and I went through and deconstructed how easy it is to negate the single issue voter argument. Many people in vaping, obviously, I'm a huge gun rights guy. And if there was a politician out there that said, I'm going to be pro vaping, but I'm going to take your guns away.
Oops.
And there are some Democrats that are pro vaping, but anti Second Amendment. And I'll tell you this, you give up the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is there to prevent the government from stealing more of your freedoms. You get rid of the Second Amendment, vaping is going away.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's difficult. It's difficult to explain to people that the single issue vaping is a very important thing for many people, but by and large, the vast number of people that vape don't come on to YouTube shows, don't come on to Facebook shows, aren't in any Facebook groups about vaping. It just happens to be something that they do. It is not as important to them as it is to us. Obviously, if there's a queer, transgender, any one of those acronym vapors out there, their choices on their lifestyle are going to be more important than vaping. And if there's a dialogue out there that Trump is anti-gay, anti-trans, anti-whatever, but he's going to be pro-vaping, do you actually think that they're going to vote for Donald Trump?
He's crossing a couple of lines there because, geez.
Not that I'm saying that Donald Trump is ever going to be pro-vaping, because Donald Trump that ship has sailed. I would never, ever suggest to anyone that watches our shows, that listens to our podcasts. If a politician is going to hold a carrot in front of you and say, you know what, I'll take care of your problem, but you have to wait until you get me reelected.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's
the election is in November.
Yeah.
We still have, they've had us over a barrel since mid-September. September, October, November. Really? Are you going to vote for a piece of shit that held your livelihood in front of you like a carrot and make you suffer for 3 months before he'll actually act on the thing that he promised that he would already act on? I don't, and obviously, Shannon has mentioned it in the chat room, Joe Jurgensen, and I'm still communicating with their campaign to get her on the show. Obviously, the vice president was on the Legion show and said a lot of great things. Obviously, she said tons of great things on Twitter, so I think that she's on our side. Literally, no chance in hell of getting elected. I mean, I'm hoping that she gets enough support that somebody actually listens and maybe adopts some of her platform. But yeah, no presidential candidate at this point that has a chance of winning has said anything positive. And I'm going to vote for Joe. I'm voting for the Libertarian. I vote Libertarian almost every time anyway, but we have to be realistic. They won't let her on the debate. So it's really hard to get a lot of your platform out to the public if you're not allowed to participate on the national media outlets. If you're not allowed to be on the debate, it's really hard to get mass support. But yes, I'm totally gonna vote for her. So Bill says absolutely nothing to stop Trump from saying we gave vapers a chance, but it's still a problem. So now we'll have to let them go back to the original ban. Like I said, I've said this many times. We vape, we vote. We'll have zero threat value for him after the election since he won't be worried about getting votes anymore. Yeah. So Joe is a libertarian, Nicole. You're thinking of Joe Biden. I'm thinking of Joe Jurgensen. There's more than one Joe.
No, not Biden. Christ almighty. Oh, geez,
Joe Jurgensen is the libertarian candidate that's running for president. She's on the ballot in all 50 states. I think Nikki's probably been in the hooch already. Very possible. But yeah, so as far as that goes, I think we're presidential candidate. We need to be focusing on the locals, the states, and the House and Senate people, because the president's not going to, either one of the major party candidates is not going to do shit for us. And I'm saying this out of complete love, if you're a Trump supporter and you think he's going to do something for you, I think your head's up your ass. Period. I could be fucking wrong. And if he comes out tomorrow and writes an executive order and saves vaping, I will come on the air live tomorrow and say, you know what? I was wrong. But everything that he showed us to this date has shown that he doesn't give a shit about your small businesses. Period.
Well, he's been helping all his corporate mates out while the pandemic's been going on.
He does not give a fuck about you. I'm sorry. I think it's time for you to have a reality. This is a call to reality here. He doesn't give a fuck about you.
Naked? Who's talking about naked?
I think Tom wants me to. Tom, do you want me to come online, show my man boobs? Because yeah, I don't give a. I'm sorry if I'm bursting your bubble, and I apologize if it hurts your feelings, But that man does not give a fuck about you. If he did last November when he had the listening session and he listened and he had all those people in the room, if he cared, and I know that he understands because I read the fucking transcript.
Yeah.
In the transcript, he says a lot of shit that makes it seem like he understands the problem, and he didn't do anything. Didn't do a damn thing. So, this R versus D thing, Republican versus Democrat, they're the same damn, they're just the same thing with a different color hat on is all they are. They want control. The Democrats want control. The Republicans want control. The Republicans lie to you and tell you, we're for small business. We're for helping the little guy. We want fewer regulations. And but the world hasn't changed. Whether there's a Republican president or a Democrat president, the world hasn't fucking changed. In my lifetime, it's been the same bullshit from a different liar every time. So, yeah. If we get if Joe Jurgensen somehow pulls this shit off, like some miracle of miracles, people decide on that day, you know what, I'm tired of this bullshit from this guy, and I'm tired of that bullshit from that guy. I'm going to vote for this person that I've never heard of before. If that happens, the world might change, but I don't believe that will happen. I'm sorry to burst a lot of your bubbles. Yes, Bill keeps telling me that Melania is still in Trump's ear, telling him to ban vaping. And I still say that what's the kid's name?
If someone got caught,
I still think I can't remember the fucking little kid's name now. The youngest Trump. I still think the youngest Trump got caught with a jewel, is what I think.
I think, someone might be right on this, but it's very interesting. The last 9 months of this year have just been turmoil all over the world. Absolute turmoil.
Baron. His name was Baron. Thank you, Bruno.
Baron. What a name, Baron.
And Tom.
Buy cruise stocks. Oh, fuck it. No, we're not. No, we fucked up Australia with the cruise ship, and we let everyone come in. You should have
just kept all of those COVID guys over there instead of sending them over here.
But no, I've seen more chaos this year than I've seen in many other years going through. And they're sneaking things through that we don't know about. They don't care. And, 2020, the gift that keeps on giving. Rob?
That's been in there twice already today.
No comment to that one.
What's really sad is 2021 is coming and nobody can guarantee that it's going to be any fucking better.
Yep.
So, yeah, I literally... I am so tired.
Oh, Len. Oh, that's funny, actually.
Trump strikes me as the sort of bloke to tell Melania to get back in the kitchen. What's really funny though, and we've already said it on the show, but it just made me think about it. So when this whole vaping thing, when Trump started this whole vaping thing, he's on TV, he's sitting there, the press are in the room, they're taking pictures, and he's like, my wife Melania has a son, and blah blah blah. She's very concerned, and I'm like, so Melania has a son, but you don't? Yeah, I mean, it was just like that kind of like he might be the kind of guy to say get back in the kitchen. And he also might be the kind of guy says, that's your fucking kid. You need to take care of him. I'm not dealing with that brat. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But you know what? I want to. We got to get back on the rails. We got off the rails a little bit, so we need to get back on the rails. So there's a deal that I saw today, and I wanted to. Oh, what is this? I got an error. I got something came across my feed earlier today, and it caught my attention because it was a high quality video. It has to do with a vaping pack, and then I started looking at it. I mean, obviously, I like to do a little research. I didn't have a lot of time to do a lot of research, but I do know some things, and I'm gonna get it on. I have to open it on this, and this new fucking Facebook is driving me fucking crazy. But there's a new vape pack, a new pack that announced today. So I wanted to share this with you. I mean, I'm not giving a thumbs up or a thumbs down or anything because I haven't done enough research on this of my own, but I do know the person that's actually running this. But let's go ahead and play this real quick. And there's no sound again.
Marijuana and THC products. They were not legal nicotine.
Let's do this again. Start from the beginning.
The products that were getting people sick across the country were black market, illicit marijuana and THC products. They were not legal nicotine products that adult smokers are using to quit.
President Trump, the vaping community supported you in 2016 when you said you would roll back harmful FDA regulations.
Instead of good companies making something that's safe, they're going to be selling stuff on a street corner that could be harmful.
Last year, you hosted a White House meeting to address vaping issues.
With some very strong recommendations.
You told us you would instruct Secretary Azar to create a pathway for our small independent vaping businesses. That did not happen. The September 9th FDA deadline has passed and we are already seeing small manufacturers and independent vape shops closing their doors for good. This is your economy.
About this job, I don't know if I can support the family.
We don't want to see adult vapers going back to using deadly combustible cigarettes. Mr. President, on behalf of the thousands of small businesses and 10 million adult vapers, please act now and immediately end the FDA's industry-killing regulations. We remember, we vape, we vote.
Lock and Key Pack is responsible for the content of this ad.
So, Lock and Key Political Action Committee. Like I said, I know the guy that's put up as the founder and the president of this group. So I will reach out to him and get him on so that he can talk about this stuff and we can ask questions because, obviously this is the message behind this is what I just negated. So I definitely need to talk to the guy. It's his name is Evan McMahon. He's a vapor and a lobbyist from Indiana. So yeah, we need to have him on and talk to him. But it'd
be good. It'd be good to hear what they've got to say.
Yeah, and I know that he's a libertarian. So there is that. So definitely need to get him on and talk to this because I won't support something until I get my questions answered. I can't promote or suggest something to people until I get I feel good about it. So
that's a fair way to be.
Yeah. I'm not going to blindly tell people because if you click on that link, there's a donate link. It goes right to a donate website. So before that happens, I definitely want to know because if I'm pushing something, I want to feel confident that I'm not steering people down the wrong way. So yeah, there is that. But that was it's a pretty sharp video. They did a really good job putting it together. I know that Evan is also a filmmaker and has done like professional films for Shudder, and he does horror movies. So he knows how to work a camera, or at least he knows people that know how to work a camera.
Yeah, well, that's always a good thing to do these days. Learn how to use a camera.
You never know when you might need that.
Yeah, true. Very true.
But what's really funny is I'm looking on their Facebook page right now, and everything on there leads me to believe that they're a Joe Jorgensen supporter. So it's kind of funny.
We'll definitely get them on.
So, but the video is steered, that particular clip, that particular video is specifically targeting Trump, which is kind of funny. But yeah, that ought to be interesting. Interesting. So what else you got to talk about, Paul? What have you been doing?
What have I been doing recently?
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed.
What?
This fancy schmancy tank that I bought.
Yeah.
Leaked all over the fucking place after a day.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Might be a coil failure.
It's a fucking Nautilus coil. It was a brand new Nautilus coil. I've never had this happen. It just drained like half a tank of cigar, and now my office smells like cigars.
Oh, well, there's nothing wrong with your office smelling like cigars.
No, I mean, that's what I want my office, but I'm kind of mad.
What else have I been? All I've been doing since we got the news from TGA here, I've just been reading through everything and trying to navigate through the pathway and speaking to liquid manufacturers throughout the United States, asking to submit applications to the TGA to see what we can and what we can't do here. That's pretty much all I've been doing. And reading, the other thing, reading through NDAs. And getting out of NDAs and
getting into new ones.
Yeah, and getting into new ones. Yeah. So and trying to navigate a pathway for myself and the business in the near future. Because which tank's that? That is the GT.
Yeah, the Nautilus GT designed by Typhoon or Typhoon or whatever the fuck you. What's really funny though is I got this really cool blue Zenith tank that I set up the same fucking day.
No.
Hasn't leaked, not leaked a bit, and it's super matchy.
Yeah, blue mods, blue tanks, blue everything. Yeah, I'm not doing matchy. What my other one's just the Aspire mix and a Cree, which I absolutely love. I've been vaping on that since I got it. Yeah, there's my billet box. Thanks for that. Not fair or funny. Someone in the US, go to Patrick's house, please, and take that billet box from him. He doesn't need it anymore.
No, I'll give you one of the ugly ones that I have.
Yeah, all right, all good. Cigarette boats from. That's the other thing that we've got problems here. The illegal tobacco market is growing at such a rapid rate after that comment the other day, and I think the US is now getting it as well. You're getting blowback from it.
The New York cigarette black market's bigger than the complete and total black market from Australia.
Well, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Just New York City. The black market.
One
city in that state has a $1 billion per year illicit cigarette trade.
Wow.
Think about that shit. And they say that there's not going to be a vaping black market in New York.
Oh. Well, that was the other thing that Colin brought up at the conference. He said that if we do go down this pathway, because the decision got handed down that same day that he actually did his keynote speech, and he said that the black market here in Australia is just going to get out of control, absolutely out of control.
No question.
Well, they think they've got a big problem with like regular cigarettes. Their problem now is going to become like every angle. There's going to be problems. I don't think they thought about what they were doing real well. to put it mildly. Oh yeah, and Leanna's now got K funds.
Yes.
Oh dear.
See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6K funds right here on my pull-out tray.
Yep.
I love my
No
K
fun.
funds.
Yeah, no fair. Not fun.
I have these really cool limited edition 5 funds ones. I have 2 of them right there. Ooh.
Yeah, they're rare as rare.
This really awesome blown one.
Yep. No comment. Yeah, stop with all your blue stuff. All right, enough.
There's another one.
Yeah, beautiful bell cap, that one.
So yeah, sorry, I didn't.
If we do bring in this prescription type system, how long do you think it will take until America wants to try it or test it out on mass scale?
Well, considering the previous asshole in charge, King Gottlieb, intimated multiple times in speeches on C-SPAN and public addresses and stuff that they were prepared to open up that pathway. And this has been a year ago that he said that.
Yeah.
It is something that they have drawn up. I'm sure they've got papers already written and everything, and they're just waiting to see what's happening. Like I said, they test run it in Australia. America already probably has the binder and the rules and everything written up because they know how to regulate stuff as a drug.
Yeah, correct.
They've got decades and decades and decades of experience regulating something as a drug, but they literally were handed the keys to tobacco in 2009 and never regulated tobacco products until 2009. So literally, if they had to shift those gears, if they legally could shift those gears. So the problem was or is that Judge Leon in the Satara case said you cannot regulate this as a drug or as a pharmaceutical product because they're not marketing and they're not advertising and they're not saying that this is a treatment for a medical problem. They're not making health claims. So you can't regulate them as a medical product. You can try to regulate them as a tobacco product. That is an option that you can try. And FDA took that as, oh, well, we can regulate this as a tobacco product. So
I'm going to play devil's advocate here, and I know a lot of people are going to get butthurt with what I'm about to say. With all the synthetic nicotine now flowing into the market, right, into the vape space, could that actually be the catalyst for them going after vaping as a medical type item? Because it's not.
No.
Okay. I was just curious.
Well, David Boyle asked a question, and I need to answer this question, or I need to at least find out what he's asking. He says, is there an end date on the PMTAs? What are you asking as an end date? There's already been a deadline. Now, that deadline only counted for products that were currently on the market and that were on the market prior to 2016. Anybody that has money can develop a product, build their PMTA, and submit it to the FDA. And once FDA has reviewed that product and given you marketing orders, then you can sell that product. Anybody can. Now, the current PMTA deadline and can the PMTA I saw that you changed the question, but I'm still going to answer that question because you asked the question but So anybody can create a new vapor product, but can't sell that product until the FDA approves it. The PMTA deadline that passed was for products that were already on the market. You had to file a PMTA and submit it by the deadline to stay on the market until they either denied your application or approved your application. Now, as far as what you're asking about tobacco tax, and I'm assuming you mean the master settlement agreement payments. Those payments to the states are in perpetuity, which means forever. As long as those products are still on the market and being sold, those people that signed that agreement will continue to pay those payments to the states in perpetuity, which means forever. Now, the payments that were being made to the public health groups that were also in that agreement, those have expired. So the public health groups that were, getting money from that, those ones will or have already stopped getting money, but the states will always get money. If you make a tobacco product if you sell cigarettes and you signed that agreement and you stop selling those cigarettes, the courts in Florida last week just announced that even if you don't make those cigarettes anymore, you signed the agreement, so you still got to pay. We talked about that last week. So one of the major cigarette companies used to make several brands of cigarettes, and they sold off those divisions to another manufacturer. But the company that originally made those cigarettes and originally sold those cigarettes, even if they no longer sell those cigarettes, they still have to make the MSA payments on the products that they don't manufacture.
Yep.
I thought that was funny.
Nick just said it. AG Moody hammered them in Florida.
Florida Attorney General, because Florida was due some back money because the people that I can't remember which companies were involved anymore. But it was, I think it was Salem and Winston.
Yeah,
cigarettes.
Winston. Yeah, it was Winston.
That they sold those divisions off to other cigarette manufacturers who took over those brands. Those people. So this is the funny thing. I think that the attorneys that negotiated that sale, the ones that were buying, they negotiated good because they didn't. I mean, nobody noticed that they were not including the debt or the so I think that's hilarious. And I kind of feel like, you sign what you signed, but that is kind of bad that you're still required to sell or to pay fines on a product that you don't produce anymore, that somebody else is making the money off of. But you got that, it's kind of funny. So
it looks like Florida's going to get a few new golf carts out of the new taxes.
Yeah, I think it's like $92 million.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But then it goes on at how much is it? Is it 30 million a year?
Something like that.
They have to. Yeah, they have to keep coughing up.
No, it's based on whatever is sold. Once they pay the 92 off.
Yeah.
That's the back. That's what's owed.
The back pay, yeah.
Yeah. Their future payments will be based on the sales of that product.
Wow. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh,
so fuck RJR. Whatever.
Well,
but yeah, that is hilarious as hell. I think that's funny. But yeah, the master settlement agreement payments to the states are in perpetuity. I like saying in perpetuity, so that's why I've repeatedly said it.
No. Well, okay, here's another devil's advocate question. Once the PMTAs actually start rolling through and some of these big tobacco companies actually get their products realized, okay, and they go to market and they've given PMTA approval process, or they go through the process, do you think then they will try and do an MSA 2.0 to include those products.
I don't think any of the tobacco companies would agree to that. Basically, because the justification for the original lawsuits was because of health problems tied to smoking. Obviously, there are no health problems tied to smoking. There's no reason for them to lay over or roll over and agree to a sin tax or agree to a penalty for a product that everybody knows is 95% safer. And obviously the MSA is cigarette sales.
Okay.
Specifically cigarette sales. And the states would try, the states have pushed other cigarette companies that weren't even in existence at the time into signing on to the MSA.
Oops.
But
okay.
It
was just a back thought. It's always been there because you start seeing different things happening, and if they're losing market ground in the combustible market, but they still need to pay their MSA money. The government.
But the MSA money is based on it's a percentage of the total
sales
of those products.
Okay.
So there's not a set amount that they have to pay every year. It's based on it's a percentage of the sales.
On sales. Okay.
So if the sales go down, then what they owe goes down.
Okay. Point taken.
So it's and to be clear, RJR, I think, or Philip Morris made $640 million last year. So, it's not a
percentage.
It's a percentage of the sales of each product that they make that are combustible cigarettes.
Okay. To answer your question, Bruni, with the Australian sales tax on tobacco, 93% of a packet of cigarettes is actually taxes. Okay.
Yeah.
And the problem is now that the government is now looking to push it twice a year. So 25% every year, 2 blocks of 12.5%. One that comes around the 1st of August or September, and the other one, they want to split it up every 6 months. They want to start pumping it up because they know that they're losing money now because cigarette smokers are shifting across to vaping. That's part of it. But the taxes, it's not on the retail, it's actually on the wholesale. That's where it comes down to. So a regular packet of cigarettes,
This is the lady. I can't say the name. Eliana Goldberstein Rubashkin.
Yeah, I'm no good at pronouncing that one either. I've actually spoken to her a couple of times.
She's not a natural New Zealander.
No, but she's based in New Zealand. Yes.
Yeah, I think she's like Czech or Russian.
Not sure, but I think she was also the lead chemist on Myriad Pharmaceuticals, the ones that created the Vapix product that's actually now available in pharmacies in New Zealand. The first vaping product ever to be sold through a pharmacy. But what's this? Australia to understand 6 monthly increase. Yeah. 10 excise. Yeah. Look, Tom, the governments around the world are hurting. Right? We've really put a damper on the governments making money, but Australia still has the highest tax rate in the world on cigarettes and on alcohol, for that matter. Alcohol's got a 33% sales tax attached to it, and cigarettes, a Russian scientist who speaks 8 languages fluently. Wow, crap. It's tough. We've made a dent, but we need to make more of a dent.
To be clear, tobacco companies don't give a damn about tobacco taxes.
No, not
because
all.
they can turn that right over onto the consumer.
Yeah, straight away.
Master settlement type payments, they do give a crap about because that's based on a percentage sale that comes out of their end. So, you know, we know that the retail, or not the retail, the wholesale cost of a pack of cigarettes minus the taxes is very small.
Yeah, nothing. Almost.
And then, you know, in America, there's a federal tax on cigarettes, which is it's like $1 or something maybe. But then each state and each locality has the ability to add another tax onto those. And that all is a retail sales tax. Yeah. So that's why we have such widely varying costs of cigarettes across the United States. Is, you know, New York might be $15 a pack, whereas here in Texas it's like $6 a pack, and you go to California and they could be $20 a pack. And that's all based on what the state, county, and local governments adds on to the relatively small federal tobacco tax.
It's, you know, they're going to make money somehow. You know, we pay taxes on everything, but sin tax is the biggest one that we have to pay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those are usually the higher percentage taxes, even here. And, you know, booze is also one of those things here in the States. Everywhere you go, a bottle of whiskey could cost a certain price here, and you go across state lines into another state, it could be half as much or twice as much, depending on the locality. I don't believe that the federal whiskey tax is even that much, but the state sin taxes are always pretty high.
Cebu $2. What's that, Tom?
Cebu is in the Philippines.
Okay.
But yeah,
$2.
It's $2 a pack in Cebu.
Wow.
Last time I was in the Philippines was about 6 years ago, and a pack of cigarettes was about 60 cents a pack.
Wow.
So
wow.
Actually, it's been longer than that. It's been about 10 years. About 8.
Oh.
No.
Well, I thought you were going back soon.
I don't plan on it. I'm saving my vacation to go somewhere fun that I haven't never been before. I like to go to new places.
Where do you want to go?
It's really hard to find a place I haven't already been, though. Somewhere where I'm not being shot at while I'm there. How about that?
New Zealand sounds good.
I've never been shot at in New Zealand, so that would be fine.
No comment.
I've been shot at in literally almost every country that I've been in, even here in the States. So, yeah, it would be nice to go somewhere that they weren't shooting at me.
Yeah, well, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
States are like mini countries with federal government as a mediator. Yeah, that's what it's like here in Australia. 100%. Not until 2022.
I don't know what's happened in 2022, but
either do I.
Tom's. I'm trying to remember now. Tom is the Kiwi that's pretending to be an Australian, or is the Australian
other way
hates
around.
Kiwis?
No, he lives in Kiwi land. Yep.
Actually, Bill has a good idea. I could go back to Japan. I've never been shot at in Japan either.
Japan's amazing.
I love Japan.
Same. 100%. I love that place.
So in a totally unrelated vape, not vaping related, but the population of Japan is the oldest population in the world. They have more older people than they have younger people, and eventually they're going to have a population problem where they need more people. And I'm hoping that they promote moving to Japan from outside of the country and make it cost effective for people like me who want to live in Japan to go to Japan, because they got good whiskey.
Oh, hello.
They got good steak. They got good sushi. They got good ramen. I could be fat. I could be happy. They got good food there, and the people were very nice. Or at least they were to me.
Oh, the food in Japan's amazing. It's artwork. That's how I see it.
Yeah, Bill. See, watch this. You want to see a comment disappear on Facebook real quick?
Oh, yeah, that's funny.
That's only the third time I've ever done that, but that was
but that's just funny.
For those of you that are listening to the audio podcast, Bill Tarling just said something and I deleted it.
That's just funny as hell. Next minute there's going to be about 30 comments.
I did not ban you or boot you, Bruni, and I didn't ban Bill.
Uncle Bill's going to be pissed off now.
I just deleted Bill's comment because I don't have any money to send somebody to Japan. Hell, I don't even have the money to send myself to Japan right now.
G'day, Figgy.
Hey, there's Figster. I know that Fig is not at home, so he's going. You know what Fig's going to do tomorrow? Is he's going to, when the movie comes on, he's going to hold his phone up like this with the camera pointed towards the screen and hit record and send it to me.
Oh. Hang on, how's that working? Son of a bitch.
You didn't know that?
Son of a bitch. Okay, so Amanda's now also seen it. Yeah, free trip mentioned. Yep.
Too late. The comment's gone, and I don't know. Yeah, the comment's gone. Nobody qualified for the giveaway.
Yeah, that's true, Bill. The 3D printed food samples out in Japan, they look exactly like the food you're about to get. That has always blown me away. And by the way, Fig, there's a photo floating around of a fake Fig at an airport. Is that fake Fig with the mask on?
Are you sure it says fuck Fig or fake Fig?
Both. Fuck Fig, fake Fig, whatever Fig. But is that you? Is that you at the airport, Figgy? We need to know.
I didn't see any picture of any Figgy.
Well, I did. There's a picture floating around of fake Fig at the airport. And I swear, like, without his glasses on and his hair, his hair there and his mask on, I swear it's Figgy. Is it you or not, Fig? Come on. We want to know. Is that fake Fig or the real Fig? Cat bags. Oh, so it is. Yeah, so it is. I didn't think it was a cat bag. I thought it was it looked like a unicorn. So it's not Fig.
It's not Fig.
But it looked like Fig. Yeah,
I think Fig had to hitchhike. He didn't get to fly.
What? Hitchhike?
Yeah,
Dan. Yeah, that's it. Dan posted it. I thought it was fucking hilarious. I was trying to figure out whether or not it was you at an airport. You got to find the picture now, Patrick. It's a funny.
So Dan, no, I mean, so Fig is gonna record it on his phone, and we're gonna watch it.
You're gonna get us all into trouble, man.
Well, I like I said, earlier, I would have loved to have Aaron on tonight, but like I said, I know for a fact that he has a lot of stuff going on and probably didn't have time to play with us tonight. But will participate. No, that guy's hair doesn't look anything like Fig's.
No, but I had to laugh at it.
Okay,
when I first saw it,
I'm going to put this on. So
when I first saw it,
this is like
fake Fig.
This is like a 5.
Here we go. We got fake figure. We had to find fake figgy.
Fig's hair is like a 10, and this is like a 5. This is not right. This is not good at all. This is a very bad fake fig. This is not a not even I wouldn't have even in any way, shape, or form got that confused at all. But we at least were able to debunk the fake fig myth, not meth. Fig might have some meth, I don't know, but anywho. So here we are. We're at the 2 hour and 17-minute mark. So we've talked about everything that we were going to talk about. And I can't think of anything else to talk about. So let's go ahead and shut this shit down.
All right.
What do you got to say for yourself? What do you got to say for yourself, LabWorks Project 2501, Paul?
All I can say is, please, everyone that I've reached out to, put in your submissions to the Australian TGA and try ever so hard to change Mr. Hunt's mind on this stupid prescription type system here.
You mean Mr. Cunt?
Well, yeah, that too, but I'm being nice for the minute. All right? I'm being nice. You know? All we can do is keep fighting. Our fighting fund's growing by the day. Take a look at Bogan's video on YouTube regarding his big giveaway that he's doing of all serial numbers 01s. And yep, not on my watch. Someone buy him a watch as well. Send him a watch. Send him pallets of concrete and pizzas and anything else that will upset his day. Send him emails, and I will make, in Smoke Free Radio, I will make the list available of all the health ministers in Australia, their email addresses and their phone numbers, if you feel like reaching out to them. As for everyone in the United States that's going through PMTA process, I hope to be seeing more letters appearing over the next few weeks of people that have had their application accepted and moving on to the next stage, which is a good thing.
Okay, I gotta pause you for a minute.
Sure.
So there's accepted.
Yeah.
Then there's filed, and then
Correct.
there's substantive review. I went. There's
Filed,
a thing in the middle called filed, or failure to file.
Filed, accepted, and then on for review. Okay, or failure to file. So if you get a letter of failure to file, you're an idiot. If you filed and you get the acceptance letter to move on to the next stage, I appreciate what you guys are doing. And all of those people that are at that stage now, I also suggest that you reach out to the TGA here in Australia and file a nice little letter and tell them they're doing the wrong thing. All right? The wrong thing. We need this to go the opposite way here. We need vape shops to be there for the people trying to get off combustibles. We need the vape shops there to actually help people transition. And we would also like to see nicotine available in all our vape shops here across Australia. Simple as that. But everyone, thank you. Big love. And for the people off to Milwaukee, have fun. Hope to get to see a whole bunch of photos of what's going on. We've seen a few photos. Nick was there with Aaron. There's a nice photo of Nick floating around. But I'd love to see a nice roll of photos of all the different people attending the premiere. And thanks, guys. Big love.
Yeah, I mean, I put the link in way earlier in the show. Go to the GTNF virtual lobby, the virtual website that gives you access to all of the recorded content from the event this week. I really want everybody to do that. I'm going to throw the link back in. I threw the link while Paul was talking to Bogan's Athra fundraiser. If you got a couple dollars, you can get a one chance to win for every $10 that you put in. Definitely, like I said, we need to support Australia. Do that. This week, the Don't Know Nicotine film is premiering tomorrow at a drive-in in Milwaukee, and I don't get to go, so I'm butthurt about that. We and I touched on it earlier. There is a merchandise website for that live where you can go and buy a t-shirt or a hat or a coffee mug or any number of other cool little things for the premiere, since they couldn't have a merch table at the premiere. I already ordered my stuff, but it's not here, so I couldn't wear it today. So I'm a little bit sad about that. So, think about that, and I'm trying to find the actual link for the store. If I can't find it real quick, I'm just going to give up and I'll throw it in later. That's important to support Aaron any way you can, because obviously, since they couldn't do the big premieres, which actually costs money, but more people, they could do premieres all over the place and they could make a little bit of money back. But yeah, support where you can support. I'm very eager to hear, since I can't be there. I kind of already talked to Aaron about it, so I know kind of what's going on. But I would love to see it, and I'm sad that I couldn't be there with my friends to see it. But it is what it is. We can't change that. But so do those things. The Global Tobacco and Nicotine Forum, support Billion Lives. Throw in the money in the Athra hat if you can. There's a lot of shit going on. There's a lot of shit about to go on, and we can't focus only on our own problems. This is an international thing. And if you think we got it bad here, look at India, look at Singapore, look at Malaysia, look at all those other places where they've been getting fucked for 5 or 6 years. It is what it is. I love you guys. I really appreciate you guys for sticking with us and watching every Friday night, keeping us going. Kevin's at the film right now. Maybe Kevin will hold up a camera for me and video it so that I can see it. If Fig won't. But just keep at it. Don't give up. I tell you things sometimes that you don't like, but it's not because I'm trying to be negative. I want you guys to be realistic. I want you guys to be informed, and I don't want you guys blindly throwing your support behind a dumbass president or a presidential candidate that has literally been fucking you for a decade. Or in the case of the current president, he's been fucking you for 3 years. So, do your research. Look at this without wearing a fucking, red hat or a blue hat. Look at this from the real world perspective. Neither one of those motherfuckers gives a shit about you, period. Have a great weekend. Go and hug your kids and kiss your wife and enjoy your family time this weekend. Barbecue. I think football might be back. I keep seeing some stuff about football games. I haven't watched a damn game yet. I might not, just because of all this bullshit. But just keep going, guys. And we'll see you in 7 days. And if there's something that pops up between now and then, we'll do another fucking show like we did last week. I'm still waiting on word from Tony Abood, because he texted me and said that he really wanted to come on. And I offered to do a special show for him, and then he never responded back. So if Tony, if you're hearing me, answer my fucking messages. But peace. Love you guys. Bye.
I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
We're exporting a whole lot of really bad and dangerous rhetoric, bad research, and unfortunately it's being picked up and amplified in other countries.
It's the same battle, Mr. Myers. We've been at it before. They want to addict these kids, this time to an e-cigarette, which has a chemical that's addictive. We know what it leads to. sadly, it leads to tobacco addiction, disease, and death.
I'm going to get you addicted to nicotine. I have a customer for life. We have hundreds of cases nationwide where people have gotten sick or died using these devices.
Look what they're trying to do. All the delicious flavors of e-cigarettes are poison.
They're not people giving up smoking. They're not people that ever smoked before. Most people that vape never smoked before. Just think if your kid was doing this and winds up with an IQ 10 or 15 points lower than he or she would have had for the rest of her life.
Most people who vape are current or former smokers. For the addicted adult smoker who switches, there's going to likely be a reduction in risk.
There's a tremendous push to bring about prohibition, to actually prohibit vaping. Whereas the evidence strongly suggests that actually, up to now, the most successful way of people stopping smoking cigarettes is vaping.
Yeah. When vaping increases, smoking decreases.
That's right.
When vaping is restricted, smoking increases.
We're worried that, in fact, a lot of members of the public still think that using an e-cigarette is as harmful as smoking a cigarette. So, I mean, I have said that it would be tragic if smokers didn't quit and carried on smoking because they hadn't tried an e-cigarette, because they were worried about the safety of an e-cigarette.
The most disheartening thing is still the anti-choice rhetoric, the desire to enforce this quit or die mentality and refuse to allow individuals to reduce their risk unless they're willing to give up everything.
I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.